Hello! As my grandfather always used to say when he came over for Christmas holiday visits, good times. So yeah, this is my podcast. I hate saying that though. This is my podcast. Because everyone and their mom's got a podcast these days, so... Ross, what differentiates your podcast from all the other ones? Nothing! Nothing. This is exactly what it was 20 years ago. Yes, for those of you who knew me in high school, I used to make these radio shows on cassette tapes. What are cassette tapes? There were these old reel-to-reel tapes that, you know, the more you listen to them, the crappier the quality got, and you hear this big click in between takes, and I've never had a more enjoyable time in my life. No, really. I used to make them, they were like, 90 minutes, you know, and then for those of you I really wanted to torture, they made the 2-hour tape. Remember that? There was like an hour on each side. Oh man, that was great. So, you know, I'd say some funny things and play some music, and this podcast is identical. So I'm just going to pick up where I left off, and yeah. So listen, first off, let me just say, okay, that I recognize the similarities between me and Bill Burr, okay? I get it. And you know what? That's a huge compliment because I'm a huge Bill Burr fan. I love his podcast, I love his stand-up, I love everything he does, except for his sports talk. He talks a lot about sports, and I'm just not a sports guy. I've never been, I probably never will be. I love being at sports events. Like, not only at the stadiums, but I actually like being in groups of people who are watching sports, because that's fun. You know, you sit down, you have some drinks, you know, whatever. It's a good time, you know. I was at this bar in Dallas, Texas. Ross, how did you get to Dallas? I'll explain that later, but I was at this bar in Dallas, Texas, and the Dallas hockey team was in the championship, I guess, this last year, and I know nothing about hockey. I know nothing about Dallas. I knew nothing about the bar that I was at. It was just where I was with a coworker of mine, and we were just there. It was a random place that we picked, and there were all these, you know, Dallas hockey fans, you know, in that room wearing the jerseys. They had their little paraphernalia, you know, and they were praying, and man, I loved it. I got to be honest. It was so much fun just watching these people like applaud every time their team scored and giving a big oh every time that, you know, something bad happened. It was a grand old time. So yeah, I love that scenario. But sports guy, I am not at all. So yes, go ahead, compare me to Bill Burr. I'm totally cool with that. It's fine. I've never seen a comic who is so close to my opinions and the way I speak and just my attitude toward life, which is just everything is funny, you know, and I'm not in an insulting way. I mean, it's just funny. Like, you know, yeah, they have serious moments in life, but you know, if you can't find the humor in everything, then we're just not going to get along. If it's not funny, it doesn't typically matter to me. And I try to find the humor in everything that I see, and I've lost people, I've lost friends that way, you know, they just, Rush, you should really take it more serious. No, not at all. So, that being said, I don't know what this podcast is, okay? I don't know what this is. I'm making this up as I go. You know, I will tell you there's going to be no politics because no one cares about my opinions. I mean, they don't care about this podcast either. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Politics don't matter. I mean, if you're in that field and you're good at it and you love it, then that's awesome. Go for it. But I just don't care. Okay? And this is going to be a no COVID zone. Okay? I will say one thing about COVID. Nobody cares about your opinions on Facebook! No one cares about your opinions on COVID. Okay? I got all these posts like, make sure you wear a mask. Yeah, okay, yeah. And you know what? I'm wearing a mask, okay, everywhere I go. Okay, not because I think it's doing any good or because, you know, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to give you my opinions, but I do it because that's what you're supposed to do. Okay? It's what you're supposed to do. If I walk into a supermarket without a mask on, you know, people are they're gonna get their panties in a twist. And it's like, and I don't want to deal with that. I try to avoid the negativity. I try to, be conformant, and it's not a bad thing, there are people who firmly believe the whole thing, and yeah, there's science, okay, yeah, and you've got your facts. It's like, okay, all right, cool, listen, I'll do it, I'll wear it, because it's people believe that it helps. It's like when you're in a relationship, and there's a particular thing that, like, really annoys you, and you might think that it's silly, that thing annoys you, or that, you know what I mean? And but you don't do it because it bothers the other person. Forget the science behind it. Forget the, all that. Just forget all of the things that matter. If that person is telling you, hey, look, I really hate it when you tap your finger, or I hate it the way you take the food off the fork and you make that shing noise, like, or I hate it when you eat chips because you eat it like a horse. Sorry, this is going to be a no curse zone also. I went back and beeped that out because, I get passionate. Anyway, but yeah, it doesn't matter if it's silly or not. You just don't do it, because it obviously means that you're with. And why not try? Why look at that person, and say, well, that's a really stupid thing to be annoyed about. Yeah, I know. Listen, there's a lot of things that annoy me. I've gotten better at that. I've taken it with a grain of salt because some people just aren't. They don't think that way. They don't think, well, you know what? It really annoys that person, so I'm going to stop doing it. Like, they don't think that way, but I do. Okay. Anyway, so this will be a no COVID zone.